Hello everyone! For this Holy Week special, I'm going to show you 7 historic churches that you could visit as you loop around Laguna de Bay to the south of Metro Manila.
Here we are, on the edge of mystery. We long for a life of new discovery. Focus our eyes on the journey, stepping into the unknown, waving goodbye to our worry, and we're ready to go.
The entire loop of Laguna de Bay is around 200 kilometers, and the road trip itself can take around 6 hours. I've personally visited each of these churches and made motorbike vlogs for each of them, except for one, which is Paete Church. If you wish to watch my full features for each of these churches, you can find the links in the description below. We start our virtual Visita Iglesia at Antipolo Cathedral in Rizal Province, which is officially known as the National Shrine of Our Lady of Peace and Good Voyage in the Immaculate Conception Parish. It was first constructed in 1632, but several earthquakes and subsequent bombardments during World War II destroyed the church, and a new one was built and finished in 1954. It enshrines the Marian image of Our Lady of Peace and Good Voyage and is therefore an ideal first stop for this 200-kilometer Visita Iglesia journey. The shrine attracts millions of pilgrims annually, especially during the pilgrimage season, which commences with the Alay Lakad from Paete Church on April 30 until the month of May. It is a Jubilee church. From Antipolo Cathedral, you would then travel around 60 kilometers through the Manila East Road between the foot of the Sierra Madre mountain range and the northeastern bank of Laguna de Bay to reach the St. James the Apostle Parish Church in the municipality of Paete, Laguna. The first stone structure of this church and convent was built in 1646. But the new stone structure was completed in 1840. It is a national historical landmark and a Jubilee church. The third church is just around 3 kilometers from Paete, and I consider it to be a hidden gem because it is not widely known and was in fact abandoned for almost 40 years, from 1956 to 1996. It's the San Juan Bautista Parish Church in Longos, in the province of Laguna. It seems to be slowly falling into further ruin, and you will notice the old remnants of a convent beside it. Despite the challenges, the parishioners are doing their best to help keep the church alive and are hoping for the attention of the Philippine Historical Commission to further restore it. The structure itself was built in 1669. It is a Jubilee church. From Kalayaan, you will then travel the eastern bank of Laguna de Bay for around 20 kilometers before making a detour towards Mount Banahaw to traverse a U-shaped road that links the municipalities of Magdalena, Majayjay, Liliw, and Nagcarlan, where the next 4 churches are found. Santa Maria Magdalena Church in Magdalena, Laguna was first built of cogon and wood in 1820, and the construction of the church building was finished in 1855. This church has an added historical value because it also houses a shrine to General Emilio Jacinto, a Filipino revolutionary hero who was regarded as the brains of the Katipunan. The church is a National Historical Landmark. As you travel 10 kilometers further down the road, you will then arrive at the 3rd oldest Catholic church in the Philippines, which is the St. Gregory the Great Parish Church in Majayjay, Laguna. The first structure of this church was built in 1575, and the stone structure was built from 1616 to 1649. The huge convent of the church, which provides a good view of Laguna de Bay, is one of the best preserved convents in the country and is the earliest surviving example of its kind. The church is recognized by the National Museum as a national cultural treasure. The 6th church in the journey is also close by because it is just 6 kilometers away from Majayjay. It is the St. John the Baptist Parish Church in the picturesque municipality of Liliw, Laguna. The first structure of this church was built of wood in 1620, and a stronger stone structure was built from 1643 to 1646. It is known for its striking red bricked facade, and a small passageway to the left leads to a chapel that houses the image and first-class relic of San Buenaventura. This image was reported to have wept and sweated blood in 1664 in front of Padre Juan Pastor and 120 witnesses. The church is a National Historical Landmark and a Jubilee Church. The final historical church in the journey is in the nearby municipality of Nagcarlan, and is called the San Bartolome Apostol Parish Church. The church structure was first built of light materials such as nipine wood in 1583, and a second church made of stone and bricks was built in 1752. The church was featured in the 1974 movie Campanerang Cuba starring Vilma Santos and its 2005 teleserye remake starring Ann Curtis. It is a Jubilee church. If you have time, you may also want to visit the nearby Nagcarlan Underground Cemetery. This cemetery is the only one of its kind in the Philippines and is closely linked with Nagcarlan Church. It was built in 1845, which coincides with the expansion of Nagcarlan Church. Its underground crypt was used exclusively for Spanish friars, as well as prominent town citizens and Catholic families. Both the Nagcarlan Church and Nagcarlan Cemetery are National Historical Landmarks. This wraps up our Laguna de Bay Visita Iglesia tour of 7 historic churches, as you would then complete the loop by linking back to the South Luzon Expressway through the Manila South Road that runs at the southern bank of Laguna Lake. If you decide to make this Visita Iglesia loop, you may need to make time for reflection, prayer, and to explore the historical and architectural nuances of each of these churches. The entire way is also lined with various eateries, restaurants, and other interesting sites, and so you may also want to make room for breaks and meals on the road.
you.